Hey students, welcome back to the online English classes. Today's video is for class 5 and here we are going to discuss the first chapter from the 5th unit of the NCERT book. And what is this first chapter of the 5th unit? It is The Lazy Frog. It is a poem, okay, and as you can already see in the background picture, there is a frog which is lazily floating in the water. Okay, let us see what's there in the poem. So this is the first page of the chapter, and if you have the books in front of you, you can easily refer to the book. And you can see there's this picture of a frog who is lazily lying on the ground, is not doing anything. Let us see what's written below that. On a school day, you are busy studying, playing, and chatting with friends. Yes, when you go to school, these are the things that you do. Not just this, but you do many other things as well. When you have a holiday from school, what do? Would you behave a little like the frog in the following poem? So this is something that you can answer in the end because you still don't know what the poem is, right? So let us discuss the poem first, then we'll discuss about this question. So here is the first paragraph of your poem. Fred is a very lazy frog. Okay, so from the very beginning, we already know that here we are going to discuss about a frog who's very lazy, and the name of this frog is Fred. Let us have a look at the picture of Fred. See students, this is how Fred looks like. This is again a picture from your book. You can see his eyes are almost closed and he's just in a completely relaxing mood. He doesn't seem to be busy in anything. Yes, he is indeed a lazy frog. Fred is a very lazy frog who lolls all day upon a log. Okay, what is lolling? If you see students, when the poem ends in your book, there is a box made and it has some word meanings. You can always refer to the word meanings, but let us also see what lol means. So, lol is a verb which means to lie around lazily. You can see in the picture, those of you who are familiar with Mr. Bean, you can see that he is in a relaxing mood right now. There's a glass of juice in front of him and he's almost dozing off. Yes, so he is also lolling. And in the poem, the frog Fred is also lolling. So you see students in this picture, you have already seen it before. The thing on which Fred is lying is a log. It is a tree. It is a tree which has been cut. Okay, so that is called a log. So who lolls all day upon a log. So this is the place where Fred spends most of his time. Okay. He always manages to shirk doing a single stroke of work. Okay, students, so in the first line you see, he always manages to shirk. The meaning of the word shirk is to not do something that should be done. Here also in the picture you can see this woman has been said something or she has been asked to do something but she's saying no to it. She's trying to shirk away from it. Okay, so when a person shirks, it means they are trying to avoid something. Like if your mother asks you to study, that okay, my kid, now you will not watch TV, you will just study. And if you try to find excuses so that you don't have to study, that means you are shirking from that. Okay, so you are trying to not do the thing that you should do. He always manages to shirk doing a single stroke of work. So just by reading these two lines, you can easily understand that Fred is somebody who doesn't want to work. Yes, because even doing a single stroke of work is something that makes him shirk. Okay, let us see what stroke exactly is. A stroke is a mark made by a pen or pencil in one direction across paper. Okay, so a small dash-like thing that accidentally comes from a pen or a pencil, that is called a stroke. Even those of you who take drawing classes, you would know about the different strokes. Yes, so you are taught about the different strokes, of pencils and whatever things you use for your drawing classes. Okay, so this is what stroke means. So the last two lines that we just now discussed, it means that Fred is someone who doesn't want to work at all. Whenever he's given any work, he shirks from that. He tries to get away from that. Okay. And doing a single stroke of work is also something which makes him, so very tired and so very lazy. Okay. So doing a single stroke of work means something which is very small in size. Okay, so he doesn't want to do even that much work. His poor old mother calls in vain. In vain means uselessly. You can refer to the word meaning box that is there at the end of the chapter. Come in and help. He does not bother. Okay, but first let us see how his mother looks like. So this is how Fred's mother looks like. And this is a picture from the first page of this chapter. You can easily see it in your book. Yes, you can even understand that this is a lady frog. Okay, and this is Fred's mother. So you see, his mother is very old. Now students, don't think the word poor here means someone who doesn't have enough money. Like in the case when you talk about rich and poor, this is not that poor. When you are having pity on somebody or when you are feeling bad for somebody, at that point of time also we use the word poor. Okay, so she calls in vain, means she calls uselessly. She says, come in and help. You see, like I told you earlier, we always use the double inverted commas when we are quoting somebody, when we are directly writing someone's dialogue. So this is something that Fred's mother says. She asks him to come and help. But what does he do? He does not bother. Bother means care. To move 2 inches. Much preferring to be extremely hard of hearing. Okay, so he is somebody, he doesn't even move 2 inches when his mother calls him for any kind of help. He prefers to be extremely hard of hearing. Okay, so what is hard of hearing? Let us see. You see, students, in this picture, there is an old couple, and here the old man is unable to hear something, and this is why he says, what? And the old woman is trying to say something loudly in his ears. Okay, so this means that the old man is unable to hear well, so he can be called a person who is hard of hearing. Okay, when a person is unable to hear properly because of any reason, it can be said that that person is hard of hearing. So, even when Fred's old mother calls him to work and help her, he does not care to move from his place and he prefers to be extremely hard of hearing. That means he pretends to be deaf. Yes, he behaves as if no one has said anything to him. So students, let us keep our discussion only till here. In the next video, we will talk about the rest part of the poem. Now that we have discussed half portion of this poem, let us have a look at some rhyming words. So, what are rhyming words? Rhyming words are 2 or more words that have the same or similar ending sound. This is something that you are very well familiar with. Yes, now let us have a look at some examples. So, as you can see here, the rhyming words have been put in colored boxes. So, Fred is a very lazy frog who lolls all day upon a log. So, you see, frog and log have the same similar sound they have. Yes, that is why they have been put in this red colored boxes. He always manages to shirk doing a single stroke of work. So if you say these 2 words aloud, shirk and work, you see the same kind of pronunciation is coming. Yes, that is why they have been put in purple boxes. His poor old mother calls in vain. Come in and help. He does not bother. Now you see, students, in this case, the rhyming is not taking place. Vain and bother are not rhyming with each other. So let us move on. To move 2 inches, much preferring, to be extremely hard of hearing. So again, preferring and hearing are very similar sounding words, especially their end is very similar. This is why they have been put in green boxes. And even though we have not discussed the next 2 lines, still there's no harm in pointing out the rhyming words. He lies there in a silent heap and stays conveniently asleep. So again, heap and asleep have the similar sounds. So without wasting much time, let us have a quick recap of everything that we discussed in today's video. In the very beginning, we saw that Fred is a very lazy frog. He lies around lazily the whole day. And where does he lie down? He lies on a log, on the trunk of a tree. He always escapes from the work he has been given. So even when his mother asks him to do any work, he just shirks away from that. His mother asks him to help, but he does not move from his place. All right. So till here we have done. We'll be discussing the next part in the next video. Now let us have a look at some questions and answers. Question number 1. What did the frog do all day? Students, this question is from your book, so be careful. The frog spent his day by lying around lazily. Question number 2. What is Fred's reaction when his mother calls him? Answer. When Fred's mother asks him to work, he does not even care to move and pretends to be deaf. Deaf, a person who is hard of hearing can also be called deaf. Question number 3. When do we call someone hard of hearing? Answer. When someone is unable to hear properly, they can be called hard of hearing. All right, students, now we have come to the end of our discussion on this first part of this poem, The Lazy Frog. The next part will be uploaded in the next video. Until then, stay safe. Goodbye.